Hey, thanks for joining Broadfield Liquid Lunch and Learn every Thursday at 1 p.m. I have a really exciting show to you. As you can see, we're on a little bit of a different set here, and I'm going to explain that to you in a moment, because we have a really cool demo to show off with my special guest, Ruben Ruiz from Brainstorm. Hey, Ruben.
Hey, Jim.
We'll talk about the show. We'll talk about the show in just a moment, but before we do, you know how we roll here with our pre-show. So I have a nice New England IPA to share with our audience. This is from Mayflower Brewery up in Massachusetts, and it's their 400 double IPA. Ruben, did you bring something to join with us?
I did, but I don't know if I have as much detail as you do about your beer. But this is a local Austin Amber Ale, and it's called a Thirsty Goat, and it's one of the most delicious beers I've ever had, and I try to keep it around as often as possible. Cheers.
Cheers. So, Ruben, what I would like to do is get started with the show and talk about some of the cool demo stuff that we're going to go over today. The product we're talking about today is brand new here at Broadfield, and it's from Brainstorm 3D. It is the Edison PRO, which is their AR and VR real-time presentations engine. This is an unbelievable turnkey system that is going to let you do a ton of cool stuff, like flying around a virtual set, pulling out PowerPoint slides, video elements, and creating this whole interactive experience with your audience through this AR and VR technology that Brainstorm 3D is bringing to market with the Edison PRO. We're going to show you how I'm controlling some of that from the keyboard right here in front of me, and how we're using my production team here in Broadfield's small little studio to control other aspects, and how we can bring in our special guest, Ruben, to join us to talk about this exciting new technology. Ruben, why don't we start by introducing yourself, introducing Brainstorm 3D, and of course, Edison PRO.
Excellent. Well, Jim, thanks for having us. We appreciate it. We value Broadfield and the excellent company it is, and the entire Batten family. Brainstorm has been around for about 30 years, next year, by the way. And the company has focused on virtual production everything. The particular focus over the years has been virtual sets and real-time 3D motion graphics for broadcast. And they've served a varied amount of broadcasters on the higher end tier 1, tier 2 companies in many segments, including broadcast. And so what we're doing with Edison PRO is taking all of that goodness of the last 30 years of broadcast and virtual production, and we're bringing it down market with a product that is now focused on helping anyone delivering a presentation do it with the latest and greatest trends in technology, namely AR and VR, which has made their way into many segments outside of broadcast. So there are a couple of trends here that we can talk about, and if you want to move ahead with the slides.
Ruben, before we do that, I want to show off some of the sizzle that we've got going on here, because you know, it's kind of exciting because I'm not in front of the virtual background that I typically have for the show. So what I'd like to do is just interrupt the presentation to really show where I am. If we pull the shot all the way out, you will see that we are standing in this three-dimensional box, which is a room that has the nice Broadfield line card on one side of me, Ruben coming in live over Teams on the other side, the PowerPoint presentation behind me, which just a moment ago was playing the intro reel on the Edison PRO, and all of these are incorporated together, and we could come back in on me and kind of fly around the entire room and watch how the room changes around me as opposed to me being stuck and stagnant. This is the technology that we're showing off, that is really going to help you bring education, corporate presentations, even studio work to a whole other level. And Ruben, that's what I really wanted to talk about with you, is who some of these target customers are that can benefit from this exciting technology.
So Jim, I'm glad you brought that up, because what we have here is a real-time 3D environment. Yes. And it's a gaming engine technology, right? So now that's come into sort of a trend, because it's easier to do it now. So now we can sell into an education, for example, segment. Colleges and universities are perfect for this. They have so many applications, we can't really list them all, but we're looking at communication internally, training students, sports, any kind of distance learning is part of what can be done. Move to corporate. Corporate America, there's a huge information and communication gap these days. As you know, everyone's working from home. It's remote. Not everyone, but a good part of corporate America is now working out of home offices. How do they keep people engaged? So unified communications, again, town hall meetings, training. Training is a big application for this. And corporate training of internal and external stakeholders is a huge one. Also, home studios and just small studios in general. It gives them all of this capability, and now you can create highly engaging presentations to your audience.
And Ruben, as you were talking, we're moving the camera around to show you how we're kind of bringing you right into our studio here in Mineola, just through the power of Edison Pro, the Teams call that we have, we're giving you the stage in a way that you can't do with a traditional production system. We're really taking advantage of this VR engine to bring you into our 3D workspace and make you the presenter and talk about all of these information. And you'll see that as I'm pulling these slides back and forward, I'm controlling all of that from the keyboard right in front of me. I can also control all of the different camera moves. I'm fortunate enough to have a production team here that's helping me do some of that. But in an educational environment where the teacher wants to create engaging material, and they might be the only one in the room to do so, Edison has that capability where it takes just a little bit of time and effort to set up your presentation, and that can all be driven right from an easy keyboard, a Stream Deck, or something else that just allows you to go through all of these different elements quickly and easily. One of the cool things that Edison Pro does is give us the capability to check out a 3D modeled object. Our model today is the Edison Pro. Ruben, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the hardware while we're looking at it?
Yeah, this box is a Dell original box. We've modified it to create a solid server. That the big thing with 3D is you've got to do this real time. We're flipping this box around real time. There is no rendering happening. So we have to make sure that we've got the right cards in there to make sure that we get the right performance. This box comes with 3-year sort of bumper to bumper. And so we're covering our users and our channel with a prime sort of support on this box.
Absolutely, and I would imagine
solid performance.
Yeah, and I would imagine any kind of technical presentation, corporate training, if I could ask James behind our unit to roll this box around and spin it around, I can show all different aspects of all different sides. I can pull up an overhead shot. I could pull out wide from it. I could pull in on it. I could do all sorts of crazy moves to show off whatever it is I need to show off throughout this presentation. Where now the technical product that you're talking about really does become one of the stars of the show. I mean, right now it's just as big as you and I are.
That's right. That's right. And notice the real-time reflections on the floor, myself as well as the box. You can see the reflection. So we're doing this all real time. So
Yep.
really, post-production becomes, if we're recording this, but at the end of the show is done. It's in the can, right?
Yep.
And so that's one of the huge benefits of the workflow here is we're using a beefy box to deliver the performance, but at the end of the show is done.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I want to talk about the hardware and about some of the core technologies that really makes this hardware different and special and unique and something that your customers are going to benefit from when you bring it to them. Ruben, can you talk to us a little bit about some of those photorealistic rendering that Edison Pro is capable of?
Yeah, so under the hood is our engine that we've been using for, it's actually been in existence for many years. It's the eStudio engine. And so like I said, we took this prime technology and sort of put it in this box. Also, so what you're seeing is, you know, Jim's in a set and I'm in a set that's an Edison Pro set, but this can also handle Unreal Engine sets. You can bring those sets in there. And the photorealism that we are seeing now is what makes it possible for people to have a realistic sort of background and not feel like they're in some 2D flat sort of environment when they try to be in a studio that's just a green screen, in a green studio. So this is a huge advancement over the last few years. And now we've got libraries and oodles of libraries, including Unreal Engine and the marketplace, to support us in providing these high-end backgrounds that look so real.
And Ruben, you know, it's probably a good point to mention. I'm going to have your team help us design a real 3D engine of a nice bar where I could host my liquid lunch. I thought the Cube was awesome to show off our technology today, but you know, it's great to bring in the PowerPoint, bring in the videos, bring in our guests, but now if we could take all of that and put it into a bar environment, imagine what you can do from a corporate branding perspective. Imagine if your CEO is now going to stand up and deliver a keynote address from a virtual room that's modeled to look like their corporate headquarters. You can now take that person and put them anywhere in the world, and that's what's going to justify the investment in the technology and Edison Pro really being the product that helps bring them to the future of these virtual presentations. And Ruben, one of the cool things that we're doing as we're talking is showing off that track-free technology all at the same time. I'm going to ask you to explain a little bit about track-free technology, and then we're going to show it off by kind of flying around our set a little bit.
Of course. So track-free is a patent technology by Brainstorm that is also available on our high-end Infinity Set product. And what this is we can emulate a camera being tracked in a 3D environment. In other words, right now, the camera that's being used is a fixed camera.
Yep.
However, we're able to fly around the set and keep Jim in perspective relative to all the other objects out there, because there's artificial intelligence built into this that now does a bunch of geometry to make sure Jim stays in perspective and the object is flying in and out, okay? And that's all basically track-free technology that comes standard with the system. So you can have a dynamic sort of, you know, preset sort of environment with a bunch of camera angles and fly in and out and around the room, okay, and make it a lot more interesting for your audience.
Absolutely, and I think just from seeing the demo like what we're doing today and creating a demo with our dealers and their end users who are interested in this technology, it is real easy to kind of show off the power when you take a production like what we're doing with a single camera right here in front of me, and how that camera can be used to move me around this virtual set is just a real interesting and powerful way to take a single subject and incorporate them into a 3D environment. To take presenters and guests and videos and slideshows and to make them all blend in to that space around you. So it's really cool technology, and it's technology that's available now in the Edison Pro, which of course is available here at Broadfield. Now, Ruben, one of the things that I want to do is review the track-free technology, review some of the different customers that we talked about, but also talk a little bit more about some of these key features that Edison Pro is capable of. So if we could pull up this slide full screen, I'm going to show our dealers just some of the top stuff. We have templated presentations. We have drag and drop capabilities, whether it's with presentation materials, PowerPoints, PDFs, video clips like we showed in the beginning. We have that track-free technology, and we have the ability to create custom camera presets. Remember when I showed you the wide shot before, that is a preset that we have programmed in our Edison Pro. James, if you could pull up that wide shot. And now do me a favor, pull up the preset that we had where we opened up the show, where it comes in on me. And now let's pull a preset where we go to Ruben. So these are all pre-programmed into our Edison Pro box, and you can do multiple of these as you're going through the presentation. The advantage of using these presets is it's going to make that navigation through your 3D environment super smooth and super easy for your audience to be engaged with and to follow along. And now this set that we're talking from, is part of the Edison Pro Asset Library. And then, as Ruben mentioned, there is also the Unreal Engine that allows you to tie in to a whole marketplace of other assets. Ruben, can you talk a little bit more about that marketplace and just how vast that selection can be?
Well, that vast is, there's thousands of creators around the world that are developing sets for Unreal Engine. And what we've done is we've tied to that, and we've actually made that technology available in Edison Pro to actually read that. So you can bring in an Unreal Engine set. You know, I can't say enough about the drag and drop. Right. You know, how we created this is important as well. We're not going to get into that today. We'll get into that in a future broadcast. I'd love to do another liquid lunch, Jim, and get a little bit more into doing a demo of how we get to this point. But it's all drag and drop. So what you do is you drag and drop an Unreal Engine background into Edison Pro, and it can read it. It can, you know, and there's a plugin that comes is available as well. So that if you want to really edit that Unreal Engine background, you can do that as well with this product.
And Ruben, you're
now,
always welcome.
Vastness, I just want to say the vastness of that, because that's a good point. There are thousands of creators out there creating for Unreal Engine. What we're also doing is we're launching an Edison Pro content creator program that should be launching here within the next quarter, that will allow for those thousands of users that are out there sort of creating to also create for Edison Pro. So we'll have both Edison Pro as well as Unreal Engine sets that will be made available. And we hope to grow these two libraries exponentially over the next future, and starting almost immediately in the next month or so.
And the possibilities there are really unlimited. And Ruben, you know, I just want to say you're always welcome to be a guest on the show. But what I want to mention for our resellers also is we're working closely with you and your team. And if there is an opportunity to do a demo with your staff, and we can get the technical people on the call to do a deep dive into the product. Glenn Seaman, our workflow sales specialist, has worked with Brainstorm and Edison Pro extensively. We have Ruben's team at Brainstorm available to do demos. So we want to give you all of the tools you need to be successful, which is a perfect segue into our last topic, which is talking about the Authorized Reseller program that Broadfield and Brainstorm are looking to launch together. As part of this program, we are trying to qualify our channel partners and make it super easy for you to add Brainstorm to your line card and Edison Pro to the product offerings that you bring to your customers that would be a perfect fit. Ruben, can you talk to us a little bit more about the Edison Pro Authorized program?
Sure. So Brainstorm has been around, like I mentioned, for a long time. I mean, one of the things that we are starting to do here in this marketplace in the United States is to formalize our channel programs, the programs we offer to the channel. In the past, they've been very informal. So this is going to bring more structure in the form of support to channels through an authorized program. So partner portals that provide materials for you to read, case studies, videos, training. So we have a staff here in the United States that are ready to train your staff. And I would say one-on-one. I mean, we are going to put the time in to make sure that you understand the product and you understand how to explain this product to your customer base. One of the big things we've created is what we call a demo kit that actually has all of these assets ready in folders. And guess what? It's by corporate, it's by house of worship, okay, by education. And we're going to have all these assets ready for you so that you can do the drag and drop on your own and actually start to learn this technology, this AR, VR presentation technology that is really the future. So we're here to support you. We're here to do customer demos and to train you and bring you up to speed on what we have to offer. We're also, and this is the big one, we're also really revving up our marketing engine to create demand generation campaigns that will go out targeting all of these segments, okay, and the marketplace in general to generate a lot of demand. What we want to do is we want to get this out to every corporation, every house of worship, every education institution we feel can use this product. And so we are creating targeted campaigns to those. And guess what that means? That means leads, right?
Yes,
that
absolutely.
means, yes, you can take this technology to your customers, but we will also be generating a lot of buzz and interest in the marketplace, and those leads will go to the channel.
And Ruben, I will volunteer me and my marketing team to be the liaison to take those leads from Brainstorm, match them up with our dealer network across the country, make sure that we get their team trained up and capable of doing these demos themselves and being able to excite the users who would benefit from this exciting new technology. Ruben, I really want to thank you for joining us today. I want to let our dealers know that they can go to brainstorm3d.com to learn more. We are going to be sending out an email to you with more information on Edison Pro and some links to some of the materials that we spoke about. We have a demo system here in the Broadfield studio, as is obvious from the way we're presenting today's show. And we can put you on the phone with Glenn to talk about that demo system, and of course with Brainstorm 3D for a deeper dive, a technical introduction, and just more information to bring this technology to market. Ruben, thank you so much for joining us. Cheers.
Thank you, Jim. Cheers. Happy liquid lunch. Pleasure.
Excellent.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. So join us every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to bring you some great topics, and I love when we could do a show like we did today, where we can demo these cool new tools. We're going to have another great demo for you next week as MRMC joins us to demo their Polymotion Chat, motion tracking software. Tune in every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and until next week, cheers.
Cheers.
Join us next week for a great webinar where we'll be introducing MRMC Polymotion Chat Pro. We'll also be having a great webinar on March news and specials.
Tune in on our LinkedIn Live page or at news.broadfield.com/live. Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers. So call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield, because we make it easy to do business.